Welcome to Confidence Talks. This is season 2 where we talk all about happiness. Hopefully you've caught some of our other episodes. This one here today is all about health and nutrition. And once again, we have a guest here and we have Tracy Koch.
Hi.
Hello, Tracy. So Tracy has been on other sessions with us talking about fitness, the importance of fitness, as well as good posture when exercising, and she's also demonstrated some great exercises as well with us in what you can do at home, and you don't have to actually sign up to a gym membership or anything like that. So please do catch those episodes as well. But today Tracy is here to talk to us about health and nutrition. Now Tracy is a personal trainer with over 10 years experience, so I would listen to her. I do, in fact. We've had many a conversation about nutrition and about vitamins and supplements and all the things that we're going to talk about today. So, Tracy, before we move into our first topic, just give us a bit of a synopsis of what your background is when it comes to nutrition and vitamins.
Okay, so as regards to the nutrition side, we have to learn that anyway as a personal trainer in a small amount of depth, but I believe the nutrition is like 75% of our health anyway. So for me, I research quite a lot, but I actually work with a company itself that deals with all about nutrition in many ways, not just about taking nutrition, but about the benefits of all lots of other things about the state of mind, everyday living, and so forth. So I find it a really important thing to keep our bodies fueled in the right way so that we can deal with all those things that happen to us on a day-to-day basis, because we have many different emotions and things that stress us out. We need time out from that as well. So yes, if we feed the body right, what we call the fuel to the body, it will work a lot better. So that's why I talk to people to see what they do on a day-to-day basis and how I can help them.
Wonderful. So what we're going to be doing today is we are going to talk about 3 key topics when it comes to nutrition. We are going to talk about vitamins. So for me, this has been one of those kind of real sort of smoky subjects in the past where I just don't really quite understand. Should I be taking vitamins? Should I not be taking vitamins on top of my diet? If I do, which ones do I take? Where do I buy them from? Because you hear a lot about, actually supermarket vitamins or own brand vitamins, do they actually contain what you need it to? So is there a difference from where we actually purchase them from as well? So I definitely would like to understand a lot more about this. So we'll be talking about vitamins and supplements, why take them in addition to our diet, what should we be looking for when we're taking them, but also we'll break that down into where are you in your life. So for example, are you trying for a baby, male or female, whether you're a man or a woman, nutrients and supplements come into that, so we'll talk about that. And then we'll talk about generally men and women's health at different stages in your life. So when you're in your 40s, when you're in your 50s, your 60s, what kind of supplements should you be looking at and ensuring that that is there for you on top of your diet. So vitamins is one of the topics we'll talk about. Another one that we're going to talk about today will be actually all about healthy eating. So in this we'll talk about in your diet, what does healthy eating actually look like? So understanding what a balanced diet is, understanding the importance of good fats and good carbohydrates, because you do hear all the time about, carbs, I want a carb-free diet, I shouldn't be eating carbs, or that's got fat content. Whereas actually our body does need fats and carbohydrates. So just to understand a little bit more about that, in what kind of fats should we be eating, what kind of carbohydrates, what kind of foods would contain that, so that you can actually plan a better balanced diet for yourself. Now that's whether you eat meat, that's whether you're vegetarian or vegan. We'll try and give you as many tips and as much knowledge as we can so you can make those decisions. And then the third thing we'll be talking about, which I'm sure you've heard of time and time again, which is hydration. So hydration. What is the importance of drinking water? And also, I'm sure you understand the importance, but what we may be able to help you with today is understanding healthy water, but also how can you build those habits? You know, if you're not somebody who is great at drinking water and you know you should, but you just don't maybe like the taste of water, or you don't know how to get into that habit, we'll talk about some tips, some of which I've done myself, and getting into drinking more water. How can you do that? Okay, so what we'll do is start, I guess, Tracy, with vitamins. So I suppose I'm going to throw just a big question your way here, and say, why do we need to take vitamins and supplements on top of our diet?
Okay. To start with, there is something called the WHO. It's called the World Health Organization, and they're there to show us the daily recommendation of what we should eat anyway, whether it's the carbohydrates you talked about earlier, the fibers, vegetables and fruits and meats. And there's like this triangle, and the bigger part of the triangle is the part that we should be having, and the smaller part is less of, or maybe not at all. Okay, so that's the recommendation. So it's like a triangle. Now, on that triangle, they will now tell you, many, many years ago, I think the word was 5 vegetables or fruits per day. Yeah. Well, that was then, but now they're looking at 5 and 5 of vegetables and fruits. It's 10 a day.
Wow.
But they've all got to be different. So you can't have the same ones.
Rainbow colours.
Yeah, the rainbow colours. And on top of that, they've now put multivitamins. So you can see the levels of food where they are now, that actually, because the way we grow something, they're not nutritionally getting the same amount of minerals and the same amount of vitamins from the foods because of many different factors. The way that we harvest food, which means when we rotate around in fields, we used to do that. Now we generally go back in the same field and put the same plantation back in there, but we're going to also withdraw from the same soils, and it hasn't got the same enrichedness because we keep drawing from it, so it's going to run out somewhere.
We're not putting back. Right?
Yeah, and then what happens is they put things on top of the food, so pesticides and herbicides, all these sort of things, to enhance that harvest because of demand nowadays. By the time we actually get it, because of the demand now globally, food has to be produced much more quickly. Therefore, the nutritional levels are much, much lower.
Yeah.
So what we used to have on our plate now doesn't sufficiently long-term allow us to keep our bodies fueled to the optimal levels that we used to have. So yes, when we say I eat healthy, I understand that. When people give me a really healthy, I say that's fantastic. But actually, it's probably only about 50% of what our body actually requires now. And that's a really, really dramatic drop.
So you're putting the healthy food on your plate, but you can't impact what's in the food unless you're growing it in your own back garden.
Absolutely.
Which I think through COVID and post-COVID, I think a lot of people have started doing that, haven't they? Like growing their own veg, which is great if you can sustain that.
Yeah, because you're going to be planting and harvesting it at the right time.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example of something that an apple might take 6 weeks, let's say for instance, normally to grow to its full potential. Well, 3 weeks down the line, they're picking them and we're getting them. They haven't really filled their full potential to their real richness. Yes. I don't know whether people understand these days, if they eat their food, how does it really, really taste? Is it that same flavour we used to get many, many years ago? And I can tell you myself, it doesn't taste as really nice as it used to. And that's because it hasn't got.
Yeah, I find the same. We're always talking about that with fruit. And I know sometimes it matters where you get it from, but certainly I just found with fruit, you honestly, nowadays, you just don't get the same flavours. Like pineapple is not really as sweet as it used to be. You know, like the melons and everything, I find the water content is there, but actually it's just not as sweet as it used to be. It just doesn't have that natural sweet fruit flavour.
Correct. So that's just giving a few examples of just the fruit and the vegetables that we eat. But because that's increased now, still many people I know don't even have the 5 and 5.
Yeah.
You know, even just to get 5 in a day, people really struggle. So if you're not even reaching 5 vegetables, 5 fruits and multivitamin, we're lacking every day. And every day as our life goes on, our bodies, because of the way that evolution has gone, we are being battered more by free radicals than we ever used to, because we're having computers, we're living in houses more so than more out in the open. Many people don't go outside as much as we used to. We go to work in the dark, we come home in the dark. You know, events of going out to the park with your children, it could be only at weekends, where when we were younger, we used to go out every day.
Yeah.
You know, so we're not getting out into the environment and getting that back into our bodies, unfortunately. So because of this trade going through, we also will go to work. We might not necessarily have breakfast at home, but we drop off at the coffee shop, and everything tends to be processed, whatever we pick up. It's a quick snack, but it's all about convenience now. There's too much convenience going on for people. We're paying for that convenience, but unfortunately we're also paying that in our bodies, because long term the effect may not get to them now, but in 10 years time you'll start to see the effects more often. So degenerative illnesses, things like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's and dementia are very, very a common thing these days. And if you go back 60 years, when it started to happen within the bodies, over time we've deteriorated much more quickly. We stay alive a lot longer because we've now got medication that helps us survive. If we've got something really wrong with us, we put that into our bodies. It deals with it at that period of time, but all it's doing is putting a plaster over what's going on inside our bodies.
So it's the quality of life, really.
It is the quality
might have
of
the
life.
longevity, but not necessarily the quality.
Yeah, so you know when people say I'm all right now, maybe you are, but actually you really don't know what's going on inside. But in 10 years you might suffer. So a lot of people are living longer, but they're a lot more ill.
Yeah.
And that becomes more expensive. So actually, if you really thought about it now, if you invested in your health at a much cheaper, it'll be a much cheaper. And when you get to 60, you could be retiring on a much healthier body, doing all the things you really wanted to do. Now you haven't got to work.
Yeah.
You know, but with all this added stress of paying the bills and everything else, there's even more onus on the body than we ever did. And that, you know, we never used to have places where you could go and exercise as much as there are days. People go to gyms, but 25% of it is only about exercise with your body. 75%, we can really put our bodies in a good place if we understood what we should be putting into bodies, what we should be topping up with to maintain what we call something called acid and alkaline.
Acid and alkaline.
Acid and alkaline. Alkalines are all those fruits and vegetables and herbs and spices, all those things we should be having every single day, and mountains of them, lots of them. If we get them into our body, they help nourish and protect the body. They also neutralise the acidics within the body, because there's food, a lot of food has got acidic in it, and a lot of those are the more processed type foods, the packaging foods, but there is other natural foods but do have acids. But even one big thing, everybody loves going out socialising and drinking alcohol, big acidic problem within us, and we want to enjoy that. But if we want to enjoy it, we need to get the balance.
It's all about balance. We're not saying, you know, don't have that glass of wine. We're not saying don't indulge in a takeaway or going out to a restaurant. What we're saying is balance. Prepare your body so that when you want to do those indulgences or you want to have a good time, that's fine, but your body can actually handle it.
Absolutely.
Rather than, as you said, we're basically running in a deficit every day. Because what we have is overexposure to stress, we have overexposure to, as you said, like those free radicals. But what we're not doing is preparing our body sufficiently.
Correct.
And although you may think you have a healthy diet because you've got your 5 a day, well, something I've just learned today, the WHO's recommendation is actually 10 a day. So 5 fruit and 5 vegetables, that's insane. I don't even know. I'd have to rethink how I even do that.
Yeah, it's difficult.
But even then, what we're saying is, even if you get your 10 in a day, those 10 fruits and vegetables don't have the same nutrients and those nutritional properties that they used to have, just because of the way they've been grown and cultivated.
Yes.
So they don't. And that's the reason why we need to top up. And that's the reason why we should be taking vitamins and supplements to top up what we're not able to get through food.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying here.
100%. And you know, we talk about supplements, but there's what we call supplements and supplements. If we go to majority of places, if you're paying a few pence for something, it certainly isn't going to be doing the job that we need to. There's a reason why. And I always say to people, if you are taking something, have you felt different since taking it? Have you noticed any changes within your skin, so that has it improved?
Without doing anything else.
Without doing anything else. More energy? Are you sleeping better? You know, are you feeling less? All these things will start to happen over time if you take something that's natural in the body. And many products are made synthetically. They've been heat treated. So this is the reason why it's good to find somebody that understands or knows somewhere where you can buy something that would be good for the body, because one, they've experienced, and that's something definitely that I do and have experienced. So that's why I can tell and talk to people. People will have a choice in life, and if it's something they want to talk about or understand more, or where can they go and find something, at the end of the day they will make a choice whether they get it or whether they don't. But we could be spending on something that was worth nothing to the body. If it's unnatural, so it's got any bindings that's made it unnatural, if it isn't what we call cold processed and been heat treated, it will only go into the body and come back out again. It will not be absorbed.
You're not absorbing
the body
it,
only
right.
will absorb natural foods.
I think because this guys would have been me as well before I bumped into Tracy and we got talking about vitamins and nutrients and what we should be taking. I was one of those who would just get it from the supermarket. I mean, where else would you go, right? You would go to the supermarket and get it off the shelf, because we trust that if they have supplements and vitamins there, then they do the job. Not necessarily. Yes, they are vitamins and supplements, but as Tracy just said, it's down to how they've actually been formulated. Much like you could go to one shop and buy fruit compared to another shop, and there will be a difference in the quality and there will be a difference in the nutrients from it.
Correct.
So ultimately, if we are going to put something in our body, you want to know that it is doing the job. And what I love about Tracy is she has been taking the particular products that she's talking about, which she'll come on to. It's called Life Plus is the brand that she uses, but Tracy has been using products from Life Plus for years before she actually, and that's why she endorses the brand, because she's experienced it. I've used Life Plus products as well, and I have definitely found the difference as well. But Tracy's right. We're in a cost of living crisis. We have less expendable income, so you make those choices. Personally, for me, I've cut back on other things and basically gone for the basics at least, because I know I feel the difference. So in our household, we take the very basics from Life Plus. When and if I have the additional income, we might look at other products as well. But at least if the basics are there, then my body is able to deal with whatever it has to.
Yes.
So that's kind of like what I love. And in a moment, I'm going to ask Tracy to talk a little bit about Life Plus and why she loves this particular brand compared to supermarket owned brands or other things she may have tried. You might have your own. You might be using, I don't know, Well Woman, Well Man, which is one that I hear a lot, of people taking. I'll ask you your views on that as well in a minute, but all I will say is look at what's in it, but also, the biggest thing, the proof is in the pudding. Without doing anything else, do you feel different in yourself? What differences are you feeling, or what changes are you feeling? Because if not, then you need to change it up, because you're clearly not getting what you need to. But what we'll talk about in a moment is I'll ask Tracy to expand a little bit on why Life Plus. We are certainly not here, this isn't an endorsement for Life Plus, it's just because those are the products Tracy takes. I have tried it, I've found the benefits, and I know so many others have. So check it out if it is something you're interested in. Tracy is an open book. You can contact her. We'll talk about her contact details.
I can also send them the link as well.
And she will happily set up a Zoom call with you and talk you through it to see if that's something you want to try. So this is not an endorsement.
No, and we spent probably about an hour and a half just having a conversation on a Zoom, and at the end of it, I've got no expectations.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the key. It's people might just want to ask some advice or information.
Yes.
And I'll gladly give that. I'm not here to sell anything to anybody.
Yeah,
I only refer something that I love and have used.
So this is more about, this is what we use and we find the benefit from it. But actually what we're trying to get across to you from this is really just the importance of taking vitamins and supplements in addition to your daily diet. And then looking into which ones you're taking and just making sure you're getting what you need from it. And we're not just popping pills and it's actually not doing anything. On that note, one thing I actually learned talking to Tracy, which I was like, wow, slightly personal thing, but when you are taking vitamins, when you do go to the bathroom, your pee will be a certain colour or smell a certain way. And what I learned from Tracy is actually that's not good, because that means that your body's not absorbing the vitamins and actually you're just peeing it out.
Yeah, because there's water soluble vitamins and they'll come out and you'll see they're glistening.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
the vitamin C
I'll not go
coming through your
further
body.
into it.
There's
Yeah.
that's one big thing actually is vitamin C.
Vitamin C.
A lot of people take vitamin C because it's
Yeah.
really good for oxidative, but in nourishing the body. But vitamin C is water soluble. So if there's too much in the body as well, it will come out. But if it's not
Yeah.
going into the body, it will also come out. So
Yeah.
if you notice what you've been taking is coming out, then obviously
Yeah.
it might not be doing
You
the
might
job.
not be getting it.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to talk a little bit about Life Plus, just simply so that you understand Tracy's journey, and if it's something you're interested in. Otherwise, you can look at your own supplements. We'll be talking about, we're going to split this into men and women's health, because men and women's bodies are fairly different in what they need as well. So we'll talk about that as well. So Tracy, just tell us a little bit about, briefly, your experience with Life Plus, why you love the product so much, and why so many people
I think it was a personal thing. I'm with a personal trainer. I want to look after my body. I'm working day to day, so I need to make sure that my body is being fueled in the right way. I'm good when it comes to food. I understand food, and I also understand that we're not getting enough. So for me, it was looking and finding for something that was going to be absorbed. So I look for something that is cold processed, which means it's
cold
not been
processed.
Yeah.
Okay.
It means it hasn't been heat treated, therefore it's natural.
And is it quite common for vitamins and supplements to be heat treated?
A majority of.
Okay. And why are they heat treated?
Because it's cheaper to actually make a product, and that's why if you go into Tesco's and Asda's and things, you'll probably find that you're paying something like £4 or £5, whereas if you paid for a very high grade one, it may be something like £10-15.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's the same as Nike and maybe a lower brand sports. People will pay for the quality that you get, but when you're paying for something that's quality, it's obviously going to be hopefully doing the job that it needs to. And I think that from your own experience, and that you see pictures of your skin certain maybe 1-2 years down the line, which I did. Someone said to me, oh my God, you look 10 years younger, yet I'd only been taking the products for 2 years. And when I took a picture again, I didn't notice myself, because you're constantly looking in the mirror, and you don't see the difference. What a change in what I could see. So physically I was seeing it, but I'll be having maybe less sleep, but my quality of sleep felt like I had a really good night's sleep, if that makes sense.
Right, so you actually needed less hours because you were getting enough.
Yes, my body was resting when it should be resting. We go to bed and sleep, but are we actually resting, or is our body moving around? And therefore you get up in the morning and you've got foggy head, or you're feeling tired.
It's interesting. I was actually just talking to somebody yesterday, and I just, you know me, like I actually have a conversation for having a conversation. I don't just say, are you okay? Just to say, hey, and walk off. And I was like, are you all right? And she said to me, I'm just so tired. So we talked about sleep, and she said, but I don't understand, because I'll go home, I'll eat, and I'm in bed by 7:30, 8 o'clock. I'm like, seriously? She said, yeah, asleep. Like, I'm asleep by 8 o'clock, and I wake up the next morning at 7 o'clock. And I'm like, wow, that's... So you're sleeping enough hours, but this would be a prime example.
Yeah, she probably may be sleeping those hours because she's so tired.
But her body's not rested.
Body's not rested, and it's not getting enough nutrition too. Because during the night, when you sleep, that's when the body does it is at its best. It's got all that nutrition going on, and it's supporting where it needs to go. You know, so when you do get up, you feel, revitalized and everything else. So there was definitely key things like that. And then my hairdresser would say, wow, your hair's been really good. What have you been doing? And I go, oh, it may be something that I've been taking.
You don't realise until...
Yeah, but it's somebody else that have noticed those things, And obviously your hairdresser, you see them every 6 weeks, 8 weeks, wherever you go. So they're going to notice the first before you do, So it's all about the experience. So I don't sort of like push it or preach it onto people. People seem to pick up on things, how I behave or how I'm looking, and then I comment. So it is about your own self-experience. And I think that is the best way to refer something to somebody else.
Is to live it and breathe it first.
You don't refer a bad plumber.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so for me, I got great experience from it. I really understood how much this was really, really helping me. And that's what really got me interested in helping more people, because the actual company have a background. People go and have a look at Life Plus and see the background of who it is that founded it. And they're oncologists, immunologists, and so forth, done years and years abroad, studied sciences. They understand how the body works and how naturally we need to support it and treat it, rather than put medication and drugs into our body to treat us.
Absolutely.
If we can do it naturally, it's got to be the best way forward to prepare ourselves. And everything that we put into our bodies, we're going to carry that on to the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
So we can hopefully, if we take something, whatever DNA we pass on to our children, we'll pass on to their children even more, and
Yes.
so on and so on. So, you know, so the key is when you talk about nutrition, that you talked about men and women, one of the real ones that I talk about a lot of different things, especially with women, is pregnancy and menopause.
Yeah. Well, that smoothly moves us onto that topic actually. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about women's health first. And let's talk about pregnancy. So if somebody is out there and they're trying for a baby, because actually it's not, we often think of taking nutrients and everything literally maybe a couple of months before or after we found out we're pregnant, but actually it takes a while for something natural to work into your system. So talk us through what women should be taking if they are looking to start a family.
Generally, and it fits a lot of most people, but all round health, so that's every vitamin, every mineral, and every antioxidant. Vitamins and minerals nourish the body, antioxidants protect the body.
Right.
So they're protecting your cells. So all those free radicals every day, they end up being battered off. We are going to build nutrition in the body. Over time, if you think when you're pregnant, what happens is you end up breastfeeding as well. So all the nutrition that you've got coming into your body and how healthy you are, you're going to pass that on to your child. Now, many children are born with disorders of all different types, skin disorders, food allergies, all these sort of, that has been given to them partly by some of the DNA that they're being passed on by their parents, both parents, men and women. So this is why it's key for a man and a woman, because you're going to be joining together, and you're going to pass that DNA to your child. If you nourish your bodies beforehand, you know, long way before, if you can, you're going to only pass on great things for your child. If you're lacking or deficiting in things, your DNA will have that deficit moving on. It's just like a chain effect, if you know it. So we would love to think that our children's children are going to be of the most better health. So as they get older, we're already giving them a good health. How many people have had children now? How often are they going to the doctors? As a child, you know, I know we pick up all these different types of coughs and colds and things like that because children mix and they share things, you know, but the more we build up their immune system, the less likely they're going to affect their bodies. They might be around people with colds, but they might not pick them up.
But it will have a less severe effect on
absolutely, and we all want our kids to be healthy going forward. So it's a great platform to start from. So it's no different from a man to a woman, but so important that we don't miss out on anything, especially if you're pregnant, because you want to ensure that you have got everything possible for that healthy baby.
So actually what we're saying is, if you're looking to start a family, actually it's no different to your everyday health anyway. So in other words, especially if you're looking to start a family, you're basically looking at what anybody would be for their everyday health. In other words, you want to be, if you were going to run a marathon, what would you do? You know, you'd be practicing, you'd be building up your fitness before you run that marathon, right? You are not going to let your fitness drop because you know that that's where you really need to, your body needs to be able to push everything with everything it's got. Same if you're going to be speaking from experience, same if you're going to be starting a family as well. You need your body fighting fit, and that's not just external and muscle strength, that is internal strength as well. At the end of the day, when a woman gets pregnant, a pregnancy is actually an alien DNA to your body. So your body needs to be fighting fit to support you and also support the child as well. But way before that as well, as Tracy said, it's men and women, because of course men do help when starting a family. And actually science shows us that in most cases it will be the men's sperm that can be of lower quality, because the female that releases the egg, I mean, eggs you've got less of, and usually they are of higher quality, but sperm, that's why there's millions, sort of like per, I'm going to call it episode, there's millions, because they are actually of a lower quality. So it is important actually that men are also taking those everyday nutritions and making sure to make sure they've got healthy sperm as well.
On the flip of that, we've got the menopause, which is a massive thing that I'm talking about with lots of people now, because we talked about experience, I've gone through the menopause.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't have the hot sweats and all the other symptoms that you had, sleepless nights, and
Yeah.
and I'm a strong believer, because I've been taking a high level of nutrition for a period of time, that I've just sailed through that. I even went to the doctors to check what's going on, because my periods had stopped.
And but no symptoms.
But no symptoms.
Yeah.
So I've had a really good experience from it. And
whereas other people dread it.
Absolutely.
And you've got...
and everyone has a different levels within this menopause. Of some get some symptoms and some get lots of them.
Yeah.
And it's about how we deal with it. And there's so many things about, do we take HRT because it's linked to cancers and all this sort of thing.
A lot of people have had experiences with HRT as well, where they feel like it's ballooned up their bodies as well. So there's a lot of fear surrounding it.
So it's all about the unknown for everybody. So how I see it is, if I just look after my health in the right way, hopefully all these things that come along, my body's going to cope with it a lot better than if it didn't have it.
Yeah.
That's how I would sort of perceive it. And I know that if I've got every vitamin and mineral, because that's what this optimal level gives you, at least I've got a good chance of dealing with it in a much stronger, my body becomes much stronger because of it.
Yeah.
So I have had experience on that side of it, so it's been good for me. And men, they have other issues as they go through life. I mean, when we all hit a certain age, I mean, I'm 58, but I feel like I'm 40 still, and that's how I think, why I sort of like promote something that has done me, really good, and I feel the benefits of it, because when I get to 60, 70, I know that I'm going to be enjoying life and not feeling that I'm going to get ill. I haven't seen the doctor in 30 years for any antibiotics. When I started taking nutrition, my immune system began to I don't get colds now. I don't, the COVID came along, I didn't get COVID.
Wow. Okay.
Right? But we're all around it. Whether I'm lucky or not, I can't say. All I know is, deep down, I know that I've been taking something for quite a few years, and I know that's helping to protect my body and nourish my body. So I believe in what I'm doing has done me a favour as well, and I would never stop taking them, So I just think that people will make a choice in life. We talk about a cup of coffee. A cup of coffee people buy every day in the shop, and it costs them probably £3.45. If you actually add it up,
£4 now.
If you add that up over just 5 days a week, it's £900 a year.
Wow.
Slightly less than that will give you all-round health. Yet we bought 1 cup of coffee, we pay it on just the contactless, and we don't even think about it. Yet we could be benefiting our health. And that's just looking at it on a little seesaw effect of one little item. And I'm sure we all go and buy things on our card and don't even know by the end of the month how much we've actually spent on it. And I think it is all about what your priorities are in life. And I respect and have no expectations with anybody. I just would like to help people. If they want some more advice, whether I could give it to them or not, if they want it, I'm there to help.
Yeah. I mean, look, they say that hindsight is amazing, and it is, because I think, certainly for myself and a lot of people I've spoken to, until something happens and you go, wow, on the inside I'm not as fit as I thought I was, as much as I am on the outside, and then you start paying attention to it. But wouldn't it be great if we just actually started it from a younger age, and so actually we didn't have to worry about those things when they came along? Okay, so just to kind of like summarize then, so if we've got, so we're talking about everyday health, so whether you're trying for a baby or this is everyday health you're looking at, and when we talk about everyday health, we're talking about vitamins and nutrients, so to keep your body fighting fit, to keep it healthy, to keep you energized, to make sure you are sleeping well and getting enough rest while you're sleeping, and just basically to give yourself that inner happiness, essentially, to keep your body happy.
Yeah.
So what vitamins are we talking about in every day that people should be taking in addition to their diet?
Every single vitamin and every single mineral.
That's a lot.
And, but it's all in.
Yeah.
What I take is all in 2 little bottles.
Okay.
And if we've got every single one, imagine yourself on a chain, on a link, If you miss one of those links, the chain is broken.
Yeah.
You therefore are missing and already starting to deplete. The chain is only as strong, and your body is only as strong as that chain is. So how do you know you're getting enough vitamin C, vitamin B, vitamin D, vitamin A, whatever it may be? And vitamin D is a massive one with the sun and not getting enough sunshine because we cover up and much darker hours, and we work inside offices. All these things are each year have got worse and worse, and it's actually coming from the government now. We are short on vitamin D.
Yes.
There's other things now we are evolving, and I think we're going to end up going through nearly every vitamin eventually when we get there. But in an all-round package that we do, it covers every single one that we need, optimal level. So even if you're not getting your 5 and 5, at least you know you're getting optimal levels, and if I have more, I'm going to be even in a better position. Absolutely.
So actually, anywhere we go, if you get an all-round everyday vitamin, it should have everything in there. The key ones you're looking for definitely is make sure it's got vitamin D, vitamin C, A, B. So can you just talk through the brief ones and what they're for? So vitamin A is for...
Yeah, that's all for your general eyesight and stuff like that. You've got vitamin the B's and C's, which are water soluble into your body, giving you energies and things.
Is it vitamin B that is responsible for skin, hair and nails as well?
You've got vitamin D is obviously for all through into your skin. Antioxidants are the ones that strengthen, and vitamin C is all for the oxidative stress and your skin and everything else. So they're vital. And you've also got things like vitamin B6, B12 and so forth, because vitamin B12, we were going to talk about vegan, vegetarian and things like that. Now, vegans won't have vitamin B12 because a lot of those are byproducts of animals.
Right.
Okay, so like eggs, cheese and things like that. They don't have those sort of things.
Right.
And obviously vegetarians don't eat a carnivore diet. So it's really key for vegetarians to make sure they also get the vitamins that might not be within foods. So when we start to take out certain food items within our daily diet, we're then getting even more of a deficit of certain things. So we need to look to outsource. Where else could we get those from? So and you've got proteins, obviously, for vegans, for your pulses and your lentils, things like tofu. So they need to make sure that they get everything they do. And I do know a lot of vegetarians don't get enough amino acids in their bodies because that comes from carnivore. So that's something else that I can talk to people. And as we get older, we eat less. Our appetites drop. So therefore, if we're eating less, we're eating less nutrition. It's even more key. And obviously, we don't want to lose the muscle mass. So that's where the amino acids will help support the muscle to surrounding our bones. So as we get older, we get more frail, our bones become less dense if we don't have vitamin D. So, I could go on and on about lots of different things and go through about, vitamin D and K with the clotting of the blood. So every vitamin is absolutely vital. Not just A, B, C, D, whatever. Every vitamin and every mineral that we get from the soils are all there. The selenium, for the good mood factors, the iron, the copper, the zinc, all those things help for all that immune system. And
with iron, I learned, so if you are taking iron supplements, it's actually a good idea to take iron with vitamin C. So either whether you have it with a glass of fresh orange juice, or if you actually get iron tablets with vitamin C in there, because vitamin C helps iron to be absorbed by the body, because iron's quite difficult to be absorbed.
It's the same for calcium and vitamin D.
Oh, okay.
So D absorbs the calcium. So therefore it helps to strengthen the bones. That's why we talk about making sure you get enough vitamin D, because when you have calcium in your body, you need that to absorb. So everything is about, you don't have one without the other. Yeah. So that's why when we do an all-round package, it's all the vitamins and minerals and antioxidants, because you nourish and protect.
Okay.
There's no good nourishing if you're not going to keep protecting.
Perfect. And for men, we were talking about, just very quickly, in terms of, again, if you're looking to start a family, it is all around vitamin health. And if basically men go through a kind of menopause stage as well, where their bodies are changing and hormone levels are basically changing. So as Tracy said, for men it can be issues that come about to do with prostate and things like that. So I suppose you have specific vitamins you look at for kind of like 40s, 50s, 60s health as well.
We actually do what they call men's formula.
Okay.
So there'd be things that they would lack when they get older that they may not be getting into the body, because obviously one of the big things is prostate cancer that comes up, because obviously that's something that they could deal with it. And it is about making sure that the body's got the vitamins in the body that will help neutralize a lot of the acids that come into the body. So if we do that, an acid environment will create or encourage bacteria to form, and that's where we get ill. So when we have a more alkaline environment in our body, it doesn't happen, you don't get all these illnesses and things. That's why we have the acids, we put the alkalines in, all the vitamins, mineral, to neutralize it, to keep us in that safe level balance. And if we keep in that balance, therefore we've got very little opportunity where our body will become ill, because we're constantly protecting it, that immune system. So it's really key, and it reduces inflammation in the body as well. That's what we need. A lot of the omega-3, we talked about good fats, omega-3 to top up, to ensure that it reduces inflammation within the body. It's anti-cancerous as well, but it's brilliant for the brain. So that's something, as we get older, tends to deteriorate. Omega-3s that helps feed the brain, and we talk about that with children. Having the omegas to help with their brain power, so that they can go to school and focus more.
Where do you stand on additional vitamins and supplements in a diet? In addition to a diet for children?
We do children's.
What age do you think?
Right away from very young, yes. As soon as you're obviously, when they're breastfeeding, they're going to be getting that from the nutrition from the mum, hopefully.
But as soon as they start eating,
we do little yummies, we call them, for the children, and they're attractable because they look like little teddy bear sweets.
I'll have to look into it. So that basically takes care.
They're called yummies. But kids love them because they think they're sweets, in a way, but actually they've got the main base of the vitamins that a child needs. And then as they get older, if they're used to taking vitamins, it'll be something to introduce to them at a later stage. But children don't go out and play as much as they used to in groups, because parents need to be with them. They can't always be with them because of working, etc. So they don't get that opportunity so much. But when they're at school, they're around lots of people. So to help build their immune system up, it's great to get vitamins, because how many times when your friend comes in, got a cold, they come home and then they've got a cold, then they pass it on to you, and you all get it, all because, it's all being passed around at the schools. So if we all look from the very early age up, it's going to help all the family eventually.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've kind of talked about, I think we've definitely talked about why it's so important to take additional vitamins and supplements in addition to whatever diet you have. So hopefully we've talked about that enough to convince you the importance of it. As to which ones to take, as Tracy said, you're looking for essentially an all-around, like something that has all the vitamins and supplements. So you're looking at those alkalines, you're looking at making sure you've got antioxidants. As for the branding, we'll leave that decision to you. But please do look into it, because if you are going to spend your hard-earned money, you want to make sure what you're putting in your body, you're actually getting something from it.
And if they want to ask questions, please feel free to send in the questions, because hopefully we can make contact and then help them.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you do want to have a conversation, you can contact either myself through Confidence Talks. Remember to subscribe. You can send me an email at confidencetalks1@gmail.com, or you can even contact Tracy. So Tracy, you're happy to share your contact details, your email address?
Yeah, they can email at t4tracy.koch, spelled KOCH, at 667@yahoo.com.
Amazing, another Yahoo user. Yes, I have a Yahoo account. So that was all about vitamins, guys. So we're just going to briefly talk now about what we mean by healthy eating. So first of all, we've already talked about how you might be thinking you have a healthy diet because you eat your 5 or 10 a day. So your 5 fruits and your 5 veg. As much as you're trying to be healthy, it's also down to what's in that food. Are you actually getting the nutritional factor from that food itself? So let's just talk about what we mean by a balanced diet. You must hear it all over the place. So Tracy, just tell us what is meant by a balanced diet. What's a balanced diet?
Okay, so balanced diet, we talked about the WHO, about making sure that we get all the 5 vegetables, the 5 fruits, your carbohydrate fibres, your vitamins, so the types of fruits that we eat, and then we're talking about, if you don't have meat, what other things we eat, like eggs, cheese, dairy, maybe along the line. So we have something called macronutrients, so that's your carbohydrates, your proteins, and your fats. Yeah, so they're the main base of the types of food that we got. And then we have the micronutrients, which are all your vitamins.
Right.
Yeah? So we should, on a daily basis, people sort of eliminate certain foods out of the diet. So sometimes they might go on a low carb diet or not,
or a low carb diet.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a fat-free diet. Okay.
Food is fuel, yeah, to our body. So if we give it good carbs, it doesn't necessarily have to be the bad carbs. We have good carbs, but a lot of people don't understand there is carbohydrates in vegetables as well. So they will give you the energy. That's why vegetarians are, they got lots of fuel going on, because they're eating high fiber type vegetables all the time. Then we have the protein. So you don't have to have meat proteins. You can have all the lentils.
There's mushroom protein and
exactly,
lentils
pea protein.
Yeah.
So you can get your proteins from there as well. And then we've got the fats. Now, fats we want is good fats. So we're talking about the good oils, olive oil, avocado type things, into nuts and seeds. Really,
There's
really
also,
key. That
so
we can,
rapeseed oil is
yeah,
a good
rapeseed, yeah, not sunflower.
Which are the worst? I was going to say to use
sunflower. Yeah.
Okay, so sunflower oil is not a good
No,
one
because
to use.
it doesn't have. It has so many processes for it to have gone through. It's not a natural thing.
Right.
You'll know that from olive oil. If you try to put it in heat, you can see where it goes black to carbon. That's because it's a natural. So you shouldn't do that at high heat. But you can put that on, obviously, salads and things.
Yes, of course. And you can actually. I use olive oil to cook at low heat.
Low heat.
And aside from that, I use rapeseed oil.
Absolutely.
What's your stance on vegetable oil?
That's the same thing like sunflower oil.
So not great.
Yeah, not great.
Okay.
But again, it's
if
all
you have
about
to do something at high heat, balance. Use it as basically.
But using oils, to use. And salmon is a really good one for fish. I know there's pescatarians out there that will eat. Yeah. So a lot of the oily skin type fish are really good for us. But be really careful, obviously, with that, because oily skin has got mercury in it from the seas and everything else. So it's all about where we get it from. Hence why omega-3s are really good to take as a supplement if we're unsure or we don't know if we're getting enough of the right types.
If you've got a vegetarian, somebody who doesn't eat fish or have fish products, can you get omega, like fish free?
We can get vegan. We do actually vegan omegas.
So you're still getting everything you need.
Yes, but it's plant based.
There's nothing fishy about it.
It's all plant based. So you've got the
amazing?
vegan one, and you've got the what we call Omegold, which is the fish one.
Because
and
I've
we
always
take ours from the
struggled
muscle.
with the burp you get after taking some
Yeah.
of those vitamins. You can taste the fishy taste.
On products,
not
you'll
great for a
see something
vegetarian.
that says fish oils.
Yeah.
You're looking for omega-3s, not fish oils. It's the content of omega-3. There's a difference, yeah.
Okay.
We will take our omega-3s from the muscle of a fish and not from the skin of a fish.
Right.
So it's all about the sources of where it comes from. Yeah. So, but you've got we have vegan Omegold, they call it.
So we've got our carbs, proteins, and fats. In there, you talked about good carbs. So good carbs are basically the fuel that your body needs, and that comes from vegetables.
Yeah.
What else has good carbs? Because bread, a lot of people cut bread out of their diet.
Whole wheat types of grain is like like brown rice or whole grain rice.
Breads.
Yeah, breads. Like granary bread and things like that, and wholemeal. They're all good sources of getting your carbohydrate. But it's about the amount that we actually have. We tend to, if you think about your fist, it's the portion of carbohydrate should be a fist.
Okay, so a portion of carbohydrates in your plate.
It's the same for protein, is the palm of your hand. Your fats is the thumb size.
Oh, that's the good
And then your vegetables are at least 3 fists.
3 fists. Okay,
3 fists.
So
there's your
one
plate.
meal should be vegetables or fruits, mixture of 3 fists.
3 of those.
Your fists, nobody else's.
Yeah.
Your
one
fats,
for protein.
Your fats is basically
the thumb size.
I definitely had more mozzarella.
Yeah, that's what happens here. It's portion size. It's all about, and that's the key. It's not just about what we need to have. It's portion size. So if we keep to that, you will find that you're getting adequate to what the body actually sufficiently needs or can burn off.
Yeah,
I think that's the key as well. Because if we put loads of really, really good food in, more and more and more, the body's still got to burn that off, and it can only cope with so much. So we can eat very healthily, but we can overeat very healthy. As long as we eat the right portions, amounts, that's what we should stick to.
So portion-wise, we're talking 2 to 3 fists worth of vegetables and fruits mixed. We're talking a palm size for your protein. the top of your thumb, not your entire thumb, the top of your thumb for fats. And for carbohydrates, you said that was one fist.
One fist.
One fist size.
Yes, that's normally generally around about 2 to 3 small potatoes.
Yeah.
A handful of pasta, a handful of rice, that sort of size.
Yeah.
But generally, probably rice goes on your plate at least twice that.
Yeah.
I would normally see on people's plates at least, and pasta probably a little bit more.
Yeah.
So you can see we're overeating a lot of carbohydrates, and it's a high calorie type food.
So the idea is really where you've got these foods to supplement them with other things. So when you have pasta, you're not just having pasta. You mix it with maybe a nice salad that's got avocado and some peppers and things like that in there. So avocado's your fats. You've got your peppers for your carbohydrates.
I mean, a good one is even like omelettes. So if you think about making an egg with just the one egg yolk, and then loads more whites, you can make a nice. And then you could put loads of peppers.
Spanish omelette.
Mushroom, so that's a really nice way of introducing some vegetables that you probably wouldn't have put on your plate, even if it's just a small sample. It changes the diversity within your stomach as well, and that helps settle, so you get a better gut, so it's absorbing everything.
So that's portion sizes for each type of food we should be eating. Now let's talk about meal portion sizes. I heard that actually it should be little but often, rather than big meals but 2 or 3 times a day. But when we say little but often, I don't know whether you agree with me or not. And I heard that actually each meal should be about the size of a side plate. That's how much you should really be eating more than that. That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
But please do share.
Right. Okay. This is going to change your view a little bit then, because every time we eat, food will contain, even though you can't see it, like sugar is naturally in a lot of foods.
Of course.
A big example, fruit. Natural sugar,
Fructose.
very high levels.
Absolutely.
So every time we put food into our body will naturally react to that. So it's like a spike. So when the sugar goes in, glucose goes in there, the pancreas has to put insulin into the body to reduce that sugar. Right. So if you keep putting food every so often in your body's continually going to just keep spiking, and it takes time for that spike to come down.
So this must be where people are talking about fat burning,
and it doesn't
want to do that, because I think the idea where I heard this was where your body metabolism starts to slow down, then you put something in so it starts it back up again, because each time you start the engine you burn more.
Right.
So this might be one of those diet things that I've heard somewhere.
So fuel in the body. So food is fuel. So when the food goes in, what we do is we adequately give it the right amounts of generally what our body needs. All your macros we talked about, making sure vitamins and minerals. If we eat sufficiently at that meal, we would not need generally to eat for at least another 4 hours.
So 4 hours between.
At least 4. Because what happens is
no
it goes
grazing
up.
in between.
No grazing, because every time you do that, the body's got to react to it again. Let it digest. And if you've got the right amount of protein and carbohydrate, it will have your levels at a much lower level. So you don't get these sugar rushes and think, I need to have something again. I need to have something again.
Well, because I was thinking, like, I can't fit a palm and 3 fistfuls and then 1 fistful and a bit of a thumbful in one side plate. Just can't fit it in.
You can, at the end of the day, it's all about training your body to eat. And I think generally because people eat at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning and they're still eating at 8, 9 at night.
Yeah.
You're going such a long day when you're eating your 3 meals. You're better off, reducing your hours in. A lot of people talk about intermittent fasting. Yeah. Fasting isn't dieting or restricting yourself.
No.
Fasting is about eating in a certain period of time and not eating in a period of time. And it really helps the body able to digest your food, deal with it all, and then work on a nice clock. Yeah. So it's got this lovely routine. And I work on intermittent fasting a lot. I work normally from 1 o'clock till 9 o'clock because of my routine.
So intermittent fasting then is really important to give your body time to rest, to digest the food you previously had, and just give your body rest. Intermittent fasting, guys, is something that you can actually practice on a daily basis. It's just, like you said, it's not fasting, it's not restricting yourself with food, it's just giving your body a break. So, for example, if you stopped eating at 7 in the evening. Some people do 12 hours, 14 hours, 16, etc.
There is no rule on it, but obviously the smaller period that you're eating in, the body will be burning into what we call fat burning mode. But it also helps keeping sugar levels. So that you don't have it helps for anyone that's got diabetes. If you can get into a rhythm like that, it helps control your sugar levels as well.
Okay, so to get into fat burning mode or managing your sugar levels, what's the minimum you should allow?
Well,
the fasting.
Women tend to do a 14-10. I do a 16-8.
Okay.
It really, everybody's body's different.
Okay.
So there's not a rule, but you can also just do one day for intermittent. But you don't have to do it every day.
What works with your lifestyle as well, because I know that in our household it's really, really difficult to have a meal before 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because by the time we sort out my little one and get her to bed, and by the time kind of I've cooked her and you get a chance to catch your breath and sit down, it's easily 8 o'clock. So it's really difficult to eat before then. But that just means the next day, not putting anything in your body until that certain time. So there you go. You can either do sort of like 14 hours of fasting. The earlier you stop eating, it makes it easier for the next day, basically. So intermittent fasting is something, guys, you can look into, but essentially healthy eating, making sure those portion sizes, I suppose it's back to having those proper meals in the day. And also please watch how you cook your food as well, because I know certainly kind of like being Indian, as my background, I know that we overly cook a lot of our food. I cook it very differently now, but I know that sort of like growing up, that it's always to make sure your veg are properly cooked, like through where they're kind of mushy sometimes as well. And sometimes in the cooking process, you can lose a lot of nutrients. So please watch out in how you cook your food. Steam where you can. You want to keep it a little bit.
Cook. I slow cook a lot.
Yeah, slow cooking. Also kind of having it a little bit al dente kind of thing. So having your veg a little bit, keeping a bit of bite in there is really good. You don't want to be completely cooking all the nutrients out. Steaming is something that I started doing after having my little one, because for her, of course, I used to steam veg. And you just kind of go, well, actually, the flavours are so different when you steam veg as opposed to when you boil it, and actually you lose a lot of that nutrient.
Absolutely.
But guys, just to finish up, we are just going to talk very quickly about hydration. Quickly, because there's not much to say about it. Do it. Drinking water is so important. Tracy, you being a PT, I'm sure you go on about drinking water all the time.
Yeah, I think 60% our body's made up of water.
Yeah.
So we need to maintain 60%. And unfortunately, we tend to forget about drinking water and go for other lots of different types of fluids.
Like coffee.
Yeah, but that actually dehydrates the body. Rather than hydrates it. But body in that flows around is where oxygen is. So we need the water in the blood to get the oxygen around to feed the muscles. So when we talk about exercise, you said to me, it's so important even more to have even more water, because we will sweat out during the day anyway, but in exercise we do even more. The less water you have in your muscles, the more fatigued you become.
Right.
Hence why if you don't have enough water while you're exercising,
and
you will tire a lot quicker than other people that will constantly keep their body with more fluid in it, because that is how the body works.
Oh, there you go. So actually water, or if you're not drinking enough and you're working out, you're going to feel fatigued. And that's not just high impact workout where you're sweating loads. That's even when you're doing muscle tone and muscle work as well.
Absolutely. The body sweats.
So talking about water, guys, we all know that we should be drinking more water. In fact, I've heard that a lot of the time where you think you're hungry, you're actually thirsty. So drinking enough water means you will actually know, your body will know when you're actually hungry as opposed to thirsty. Now, if we talk about drinking water and forming habits, so there's also healthy water. So I found this. We talked about sort of, especially after having a little one, about healthy water, and depending on where you live, there could be chemicals in the water, there'll be a lot of sort of like
metals and toxins all in the water.
Metals, toxins, things like that, so you also get areas where the water will be much, much harder than other areas. So I was never a bottled water drinker at all. I was like, I'm not paying for water. But what we did do is we didn't want to install a big expensive kind of change our whole kitchen and do a big installation of a filter. So we actually went down the route of something simple. We got a jug, a filter jug.
Yeah.
And the difference, oh my God.
Yeah.
I was
It's not
never
tinny. You don't get that tinny taste.
You can just, there's a smell as well. Normally there's a smell I find to tap water which puts me off. Like I know it sounds crazy, but I have my quirks. If I was drinking water from an open glass, I just can't. The smell's just not right. But if I drink from a bottle, it's different. But still, tap water, and especially after using a filter jug or something, you'll notice the difference.
Yeah, I think you saying that's quite interesting. I put water down for my dog.
Yeah.
And since I've been giving filtered water to him, he will only go to filtered water. If I put tap water in there, he'll turn his nose up it and look for me to put some water down there.
Even they know.
If they know,
they can sense the smell. So guys, if you don't want to do a big filter installation, at least to see if you can taste the difference and you feel different, just get a filter jug. But make sure you research on the market, look at reviews, and get one that you're happy with.
I think the key is otherwise. A lot of people don't like drinking water. That's why they just don't drink it.
I think so.
You can really add sliced fruits into jugs of water that you put through your filter, if you like, in your fridge. To give it a little bit of flavour, even if it was like cucumbers and celery, things like people go for whatever they want.
Well, you see it in hotels. You go to hotels,
you
see it in their
infuse it with different flavours.
We do that in
and
summer.
You're more likely drink the water because the water content is there, and it's much more
and you're
accessible.
getting part of your a day.
Absolutely.
We should be actually eating it, but still.
Yeah.
We do that in summer actually, so we keep that in. It's really nice and refreshing.
But it's natural.
But get a filter, notice the difference. I definitely found the difference, and I drink so much more water now. Another tip, so I basically carry a bottle around me, even in the house. I carry a bottle around with me because I just find I drink more from a bottle than I would from a glass. It's just easier to drink so much more. And I will top that up. It's about a 750ml bottle, and I go through about, on a bad day, 3 maybe.
Yeah, you need 4.
On a good day, 4 or 5, like if I've been to the gym.
Yeah, you need
because
3,
you easily have 2 at the gym.
Yeah. But water feeds the skin.
Yes.
Okay, so where you people look
hydrated.
tired, you can see like the skin is. If you drink water, it'll be much more blossoming look on you, look more energised anyway. But
plump.
It's telling you, thank you very much, you're feeding me, you know, I'm loving this. And that's the sort of glow that you'll get if you start putting water into your body. And you feel better because your body tires if you haven't got enough water. So at the end of the day, if you're getting fatigued, drink some water.
Yeah.
Hopefully that'll revive your body a little bit.
I think a lot more people, I have seen people carry around bottles now, the named ones and everything.
Yeah.
So it's really
But your
good.
urine will tell you if you're not in a good place with water. So the darker your urine, the less water you've got in your body.
Yeah, absolutely.
It
should be almost clear, shouldn't it?
Yeah. Very, very pale.
So carry a bottle with you. Another thing you can do, and this is great for kids, so if you have basically children and they're not great with drinking water, then actually what you could do is, first of all, get a fun bottle. You could actually get them to decorate it so it's theirs, and you can actually just put little markers on there as well, so to see kind of, it's a challenge, isn't it? Kids love a game, so kind of, can you drink down to this, can you drink down to this? And it could be a case of, if they for every bottle they finish that day, and you could do this on a weekend if they go to school and they're not with you through the week, they get a sticker or something, and then those stickers amount to something. Just make sure the reward is nothing to do with food, it's something else. It could be time with you, it could be an activity, but it's not to do with food, because my own personal thing, I don't think that creates great habits with food where it's used as a reward. So the reward should be something else, something fun to do.
Yeah.
So using a marker, fruit infused water we talked about is a great way as well to do it. You can get bottles where they've got a thing in the middle that you put the fruit into, or just go au natural, just chuck the fruit in there.
Absolutely.
And do you know what, when you're done drinking that water, chuck that fruit into a smoothie. It's still going to have nutrients in there. Another big thing of mine, guys, is try to avoid using plastic bottles where you can, for 2 reasons. I'm very much about saving the environment, making sure our children and our children's children have a planet to look after and to live happily on. So 1, we don't want to be using plastic, but 2, because if you think about the chemicals that are in plastic, how long has that bottle been sitting in that on that shelf in that shop? How long ago was that bottle manufactured and that water put in there.
And you should never leave them out in the sun anyway, because
as the plastic heats, the water is absorbing all those chemicals. So if you're going on a holiday or you're somewhere where it's warm, please be aware of using plastic bottles, because that water has taken all the chemicals from that plastic. So avoid using plastic bottles. In our household, my husband loves cold water. I don't. I
love cold water.
I'm like room temperature, especially in winter. Room temperature. I'm even one of those weirdos who likes slightly warmed water as well.
I always put ice in it as well.
But so he likes cold water. So actually we have glass bottles, and in fact, I do believe in colour therapy, a topic for another time. So actually, I've recently painted the glass bottles as well, and we basically just fill those. So we use the filter, and we just use the filter to top up these bottles, and they go in the fridge, and you've always got water there, basically.
Absolutely.
But that filter water, honestly, is just phenomenal. So I'm going to leave you with this when it comes to water. Drink water. It is so important, guys. Today has been all about health and nutrition, and we're talking about starting from the inside out. Tracy has talked to you on other episodes about your fitness and about exercise. That's the outside. That is, of course, helping you inside as well. But this is about really getting into those tiny little bits in your body, working with your body and making it strength from the real inside of the core, your muscles, like your fighting, your defense, working with all of that. So put good stuff in for it to show on the outside. So with water, guys, drink as much as you can. The quality of it does matter. Get a filter. I know Life Plus do a filter jug as well. You don't have to go there. Just research and make sure you're getting one that does the job. It should be one where you have to change the filter quite regularly. But you will notice the difference in the taste, because honestly, I was not one of those, and I've just been blown away by it. Now I tell everybody, you would think I'm on commission for this. I'm really not. I'm really not.
No.
But it's the only water I will give my pets, your pets,
exactly.
my child, and I've got to say, my little one, touch wood, is brilliant with water. And I think it's because, one, she's always been she has had normal water, because I do think also you need a little bit of that in your body to build it up, but generally she has filtered water. But we have always given her water. She doesn't have fruit shoots and stuff.
It's a habit.
It's a habit. She's only ever had water, and her treat is juice, the orange juice, fresh orange juice if we've gone on holiday or something, but we also dilute it with water because it's a lot of sugar that she's not used to. But we'll talk about that, because we'll do an episode on confident parenting, so we'll talk all about nutrition when it comes to kids. So water, use a glass bottle where you can. If you have to use plastic, I get it, but don't store the water in there if you can help it. So I hope that's been helpful, guys. This has been season 2, all about happiness, and today has been all about health and nutrition. Tracy has talked you through vitamins, the importance of having those additional vitamins and supplements on top of our diet. We've talked about what a balanced diet looks like, the fact that carbohydrates are important, but it's good carbohydrates. Making sure you've got the right amount of protein, fats as well. Whole meal is good, basically. And also talking about the importance of hydration. But if on any of these topics you want some further information, please don't hesitate to contact myself, Devi. You can subscribe to our channel. You can email me at confidencetalks1@gmail.com. You can also get in touch with Tracy as well. And Tracy, your email address one more time.
It's t.koch, spelled KOCH667 @yahoo.com, and anytime you want to.
There you go, guys. So this has been Confidence Talks. Thank you for listening in.
Thank you.